Hi, this is Dr. David Branham. Welcome to SOS 4380, the internship or the field experience in social sciences. Today's video is designed to help you get off to a good start on that internship. Just a few things to remember as you go into the office. Once you see this video, go ahead and take the test. And if you don't make 100 on the test, keep taking it until you do so that you can go on to your internship. And I'm hoping this will help you feel a little bit more confident in the office. So I'm going to start with sharing my screen with my PowerPoint, which is making a professional presentation, navigating your social science internship. My name is Dr. David Branham, as you may know. I am the social sciences internship coordinator. So today's video will have all the answers that you'll need for that first test that you need to make 100 on. So be sure and pay close attention. See page down. Okay, finally. An internship gives you the opportunity to do three things. One is to test your knowledge and the various skills that you have learned in a new social science setting. As you're a major in the social sciences, at least most of you are a major in social sciences, you'll be able to take those skills into an office place, and I think you'll be able to be very productive with those skills. Also, it allows you to see if you can really be happy in a certain type of workplace associated with your college degree. If you're not happy in this type of workplace, you may complete your internship there and make that assessment. Sometimes, I mean, with social sciences degrees, you can go to many other venues. You can do it in your career in government, nonprofits, law offices, schools. There are many opportunities for you. Businesses like social science majors. So what this is designed to do, this internship is designed to do, is to let you see, is this really what I want to do? And it allows you to show the real world that UHD graduates have the excellent occupational and interpersonal skills, which we already know, but as I said, we want to make sure the rest of the world knows. Okay, a couple of things to think of when you go into the office, or a few things to think of. One, make sure you do not dress too informally, especially on the first couple of days or the first week. Make sure that you are dressed not too casual for the office. So a good rule is to basically dress one level above what you think you need. And that usually puts you in a pretty safe category. If you're overdressed or if you're dressed too formally, that's okay. People can accept that far better than if you're dressed in say jeans and a t-shirt, jeans with holes in them, and you're not supposed to be there. You're in that type of a wardrobe. If it's a casual atmosphere, sometimes casual atmospheres still have these cultural things in the office that you need to go by. So feel that out. The other thing is, if you have a lot of piercings or tattoos and so forth, make sure that you're comfortable showing those in the office culture. And the best way to do that is to, on the first day, mostly cover those up. And then if you feel like you're comfortable in that atmosphere showing those things, then that's okay. But just start off being very conservative with your dress. Also, do not be late, especially on the first day. Do not be late. If you tell your supervisor that you're going to be there at 10 a.m., be there on or before 10 a.m. It's okay if you're there at 9:45. 9:45 is fine. It shows that you have initiative. And if you get in the habit of doing this, then you'll be highly appreciated by any supervisor that you might have. It's a good idea also to ask for a written office policy if you're not presented with one. If you are presented with one, or they have one for you, make sure you read it carefully and adhere to it, especially when it comes to things like what to wear, your appearance, sexual conduct, language, punctuality, performance, all those things, you need to adhere to those. If you ask for it and they don't have that, then try to get a good idea of what they want. But if it makes a good impression just to ask for it and just say, look, I want to make sure that I abide by office policy. What is it? So if you one of the first things you should do is ask for that written office policy so that you can understand the office culture and what is expected of you. A handshake. Almost everybody, the first day they have a handshake. So one, when you have a handshake, be sure to look the person in the eye when you handshake. Shake firmly, but not hard, especially if you're a very strong person. If you're a man, you do not want to crush a woman's hand, or actually a weaker man's hand. You don't want to crush their hand. You want to give them a nice firm, basically telling them, I'm here, I'm ready to go, but not trying to overpower them with a handshake. That's not never a good idea. It's also a good idea if your boss is a woman and you're a man, to allow her to extend her hand first. If it's a man, you can extend your hand first. That's just protocol, or traditional protocol. Now, you may be able to get away with it by extending your hand first if you're a man and extending it to a woman, but that's taking a risk that you probably don't need to take. So it's always a good practice if you're a man to let the woman extend her hand first. Make sure you can firmly shake her hand, but make sure you don't squeeze it, or make sure that you don't hurt her hand in the process of shaking her hand. When given an assignment by your supervisor, you should do two things. One, do it as well as you can. Two, do it as quickly as is reasonably possible. Now, sometimes those two things conflict. So if you're a perfectionist, for instance, the tendency is for you to take too long to get an assignment done. If that's the case with you, it's time to practice not doing that. Get it done as quickly as possible. If you're a perfectionist and you take too much time, cut a couple of corners, get it done, and then perhaps if you can present it and say, look, if you give me a little more time, I can make this a little bit better. Let your supervisor decide. A lot of times, time is what's important, not that it's done perfectly. Other times it's the other way around. It's important that it's done perfectly, even if it takes some time. So get the feel of that. But a general rule is to do both. Do it as well as you can. Do it as quickly as you can. When you're interacting with people in the workplace and doing tasks at your internship, it's important to remember a few things. One, remember that you represent UHD. You're not only representing yourself, you're representing every graduate at UHD, and certainly every graduate from the social sciences program. So remember that you're not just representing yourself, that you are an example from your university. Second, remember that you represent your internship supervisor and your internship office. Remember that while you're in that office, it's important to make sure that your priority is to make them look good. Make your supervisor look good, make your supervisor happy with you and your office. It's important that your office be productive. That's the number one priority in an office. So always keep that in mind. Also, remember you represent yourself, and you want to make sure that you make a good impression on everybody. So take all of this into consideration when you're interacting with people. A good strategy is always to, one, respond quickly and responsibly to supervisor requests. Two, scan the office for possibilities where your skills can make things more productive or life more comfortable for those in the organization. A lot of times this is a frustrating task because you'll see something. I've had many interns tell me, I see something in this office that I can fix, and their supervisor stops them from fixing it. A lot of people, when you walk in as an intern, there are people who've been there for years who have taken ownership of that office, and they're going to protect their territory. They're going to protect their job. And this new young person in here coming in who's highly skilled is a threat to that. Understand that. So, so try to put yourself in the other person's place. If you see something that can help, try to present it in a manner that is not threatening to the person there, and perhaps it'll be easier for you to get that done. The last thing is look for good things to suggest to the supervisor where you can help. So if you see things that you can help on, just tell the supervisor, I can help with that. Okay, I have the ability to do this and so forth. So that's a good strategy when you're all in the office, is to be proactive on these things. Look for things that you can help on, suggest it to your supervisor that you can do it, and respond quickly to anything that your supervisor requests. So this is a class. I know it's internship focused, it's in the office focused and so forth, but it's a class for college credit. So it's important to understand what you have to do to pass this class. In order to pass this class, you have to, one, get a score of 100 on your exam. So watch closely on this presentation, because I'm giving you all the answers to the exam. Two, you have to complete 120 hours on your internship. If you don't complete 120 hours, no matter what you do, you cannot pass. So be sure to make sure that you get all those hours. 120 hours in a long semester is about 8 hours a week. If you get into shorter semesters, like that 5-week semester in the summer, then it turns into about 24 hours a week. An 8 weeks semester, 120 hours is about 15 hours a week. So if you're in a short semester, you really have to do a lot of hours quickly. If you're in a long semester, you have a little bit more leeway. I don't mind how you get your hours done, as long as your supervisor is fine with how you get your hours done. If you want to get all your hours done early, that's fine. If you want to get them all done late, that's fine, just as long as your supervisor is good with that. This class is a pass-fail class. So you'll have 4 other assignments on your syllabus. Go to your syllabus and read it. Those assignments have to be passed in order for you to pass your internship. That means that you have to evaluate your supervisor. You have to get a good evaluation from your supervisor. You have to do a good journal and so forth. So make sure you do all the things on the syllabus that you need to do so that you can pass the class. If you miss one thing, then you don't pass. So it's a pass-fail class. So in order to pass, you just have to do all of the requirements in a passing fashion. If you're unsure about something in the internship class, you should look at the syllabus and then notify Dr. Branham if you don't understand what it says in the syllabus. The syllabus is a contract that you have in every single class. You should scan that thing the syllabus regularly. You should know everything that's in it, because that contract is binding. The professors aren't able to just change their mind and say, well, I decided to move the due date up, even though it says in the syllabus that the due date is back here. This is a contract. Now, there is some leeway that the professor has. For instance, a due date can be moved back if a professor wants, or if circumstances happen that need adjustment, the professor can do that. But the professor can't all of a sudden say, okay, I'm going to grade this harder because I didn't think I graded it hard enough. That's what is in the syllabus, is what has to happen. So get that syllabus out and read it. So if you have a question, read it. Maybe it's answered in the syllabus. Professors do not like to answer questions that are already answered in the syllabus. So if it's addressed in the syllabus, make sure you know what that is. Maintain high integrity. You will automatically fail your internship and possibly be expelled from the university if you, one, falsify records, for instance, turning in reports of hours worked that aren't worked, ask someone to falsify records for you, or plagiarize on a paper where you copy from somebody else's paper. It never works. People who copy from somebody else's paper always get caught. It's happened several times in the internship where I was the class professor, and the student had to fail the class on each occasion. So please don't do that. These assignments aren't too difficult to do. So make sure you just take your time, set aside the time, and make sure you do them. Encountering poor behavior. If someone in your office makes you feel uncomfortable, be sure to notify your supervisor and me as soon as possible, especially if you think they're doing something inappropriate. Sometimes there have been times when students thought that inappropriate things were occurring when they really weren't. And, sometimes a conference will, clear that up. There's other times when people have acted inappropriately. So if you get that, please let me know right away so that I can do something about that. But also know that if you report to me any type of sexual misconduct, that includes a dating relationship where there's physical violence, or if you report to me somebody who has attacked you sexually when it's against the law, or in something like that, I will report it. It is my duty as a professor to report any sexual misconduct that I see. So I'm just forewarning you that I will report any sexual misconduct that you tell me. That said, go ahead and tell me, especially if you're in the internship where this is going on. Let me know so I can act on your behalf. If I report the sexual misconduct, I will report it to the Title IX office. They will deal with you directly on it. There's no reason for anybody else to have to know anything about it. So Title IX office will deal with you. I only will know about it so that I can turn it in. And from there, however you decide to handle it with the Title IX office is up to you. But we have a person in Title IX office who will contact you and make sure that this behavior does not continue. If you're directed to do something that's unsafe on your internship, tell your supervisor that you feel it's unsafe and refuse to do it. And that way you can assure your safety. So if you think, oh, this doesn't look safe, just tell your supervisor, it doesn't look safe. I don't think I can do that. And then if the supervisor gets upset about it or has an issue with it, we can, just let me know that on top of that. First, you let me know that you were put in an unsafe situation. Second, let me know if your supervisor had an issue with that. We can adjust. We can take you out of an internship and place you in another internship if that's what it takes. It's, these are things that we can adjust. Your safety is what matters. Don't do something that you feel is unsafe. If somebody at your internship workplace starts saying something bad about another person at the workplace, you should politely avoid agreement with that person and what that person is saying, and do your best to discontinue the line of conversation, even if that means walking away. So the worst thing you could do is get caught up in this gossip of other, where you're basically talking badly about other people. Just try to avoid that at all costs. You don't have to tell the person who's doing it that you're going to report them or anything like that. I'll leave that up to you. You don't have to do that. If you want to report them, you could do that. But you do need to get away from that situation, and you do need to make sure that you're not part of what that other person is doing. This is difficult. I mean, it's something that occurs a lot in workplaces, and it helps. People will like to do it because in some cases it helps them feel better about what's going on. But you can't do that at another person's expense. So be sure to avoid that, at all costs. If you feel that your time is not being used properly, you should be proactive by suggesting things that you can do, and understand that they have to build trust in you. When you walk in the door, you're a very new person. They don't know what you're going to do. They have to build that trust. So do whatever you can to build trust early on. And that means that if, the first 2 or 3 weeks, you're not doing great things, that they have you standing around and observing a lot, you're doing the menial chores and so forth, go ahead and do those first 2 or 3 weeks. But by 4th or 5th week in a long semester, you should be doing things that are educational and meaningful in that internship. So be patient. Now, if you're in a shorter semester, then you can't be quite so patient. But do understand that you're going to be there pretty much every day. So by the end of the first week, it should be easier for them to see that, or build up that trust with you. So things will move faster in a shorter semester, but we do need for them to, first, for you to be patient, allow them to introduce you to the workplace. Second, for them, they need to basically implement a plan for you that will be educational and a good experience for you. Emergencies. It is okay to miss an internship hours if you have a compelling problem, like a serious sickness, somebody in your family, like a child, somebody that depends on you, like a child or an elderly person. If they need your attention, it's okay for you to miss your internship. Pick up the phone, call your supervisor and say, I'm sorry, this is what's going on. I won't be able to make it in today. But you're going to have to make up those hours. You remember, you still have to have 120 hours no matter what in order to pass the class. So if you miss 8 hours in 1 week, you somewhere along the line, you're going to have to add an extra 8 hours so you can get up to that 120. And that's the reason why I don't really mind you adjusting as you go to what your needs are. It's okay to build up some of those hours quicker than once, 8 hours every week or whatever the average pace is. It's okay to do that as long as your supervisor is fine with that. If you must miss your internship office appointment, you should call your internship supervisor as soon as you know and tell that supervisor that you're not going to be able to come in. That is all I have for you. So I'm going to wish you a very happy internship. And stress to you that I'm here for you. If any issue occurs that I need to know about, I'm asking you to please tell me. You can email me or call me on the phone. Email is usually the quickest way because I for sure I will answer your emails. So if you have any questions, let me know. So as I said before, have a great internship and have a great experience.